When factoring in all of the exclusives that the PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch, the Xbox Series X and S feels kind of barren in comparison. Nevertheless, there have been some standouts, and Game Pass has helped provide a platform for several excellent games that would have otherwise gone unplayed. Let's take a look at 30 of the best Xbox Series X and S titles of all time to date. Elden Ring. It's easy to dismiss Elden Ring as little more than open-world Dark Souls, but it takes the sheer freedom of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and packs it with weapons, incantations, sorceries, armor, enemies, mini-bosses, and side quests. Elden Ring is a dense experience that goes from one spectacle to the next. Persona 5 Royal. A must-have RPG regardless of the generation, Atlus's Persona 5 Royal packs a tight narrative with stellar characters in combat. To say nothing of the incredible style, Royal packs several quality-of-life features and new content, from a new semester and location to a brand new palace and party member, but its core gameplay loop remains irresistible, and finally being able to play it in 4K 60 FPS is a blast. Hades. If you've never played roguelites or experienced the magical storytelling that Supergiant Games offers, then Hades is a must-play title. Its spin on Greek mythology and story, which sees Zagreus attempting to escape the underworld and the watchful eye of his father Hades, is brimming with charm and stellar voice acting. The combat is incredibly responsive while providing tons of potential builds. More importantly, the story evolves with each run, and even when you've obtained the ending, there's still plenty of side content, upgrades, and bounties to pursue. Forza Horizon 5. Playground Games has been scoring consistently with the Forza Horizon series for years, and Forza Horizon 5 is probably its best yet. Set in Mexico with 12 diverse biomes, each with unique weather including massive dust storms, the open-world racer reimagines the progression system to offer dedicated festival sites for each discipline. Then there are accolades, small mini-challenges that must be completed to get into the Hall of Fame. With over 500 cars, new events and Horizon stories, quality of life changes, and much more, Forza Horizon 5 is a massive experience that feels great to play. Rogue Legacy 2. Gold grinding for estate upgrades may not agree with some, but Rogue Legacy 2 is a massive step up from its predecessor in almost every other way. The sheer variety of classes and subclasses, gold modifiers for some riskier traits, a new art style, challenging environments and bosses, and some compelling lore are just the beginning. Once you beat the game, numerous New Game Plus cycles freshen up runs even more. If a roguelite Metroidvania sounds like a good time, then Rogue Legacy 2 is worth checking out. Control. The third-person shooter gameplay that Remedy is renowned for, gorgeous visuals and particle effects, courtesy of the Northlight engine, and a flair for the paranormal. These may come close to describing Control. As Jesse Faden, players explore the oldest house and stop a threat called the Hiss from taking over. Using psychic powers and the morphing gun, Jesse ventures through surreal environments while combating overwhelming odds. The results are pitch perfect, especially with 4K 60 frames per second and ray tracing support on current-gen consoles. It Takes Two. While A Way Out was grounded and suitably realistic for a co-op experience, It Takes Two goes in the other direction. Its gameplay encompasses a variety of mechanics, with something new introduced regularly to spice things up. The over-the-top visuals and set pieces combined with a decent story revolving around the faltering marriage of Cody and May helped elevate it to one of the best games of 2021. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. After all the disappointments that the Tony Hawk Pro Skater franchise caused, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 is a breath of fresh air, a remake that retains the essence and content that made both games so great while enhancing it, with mechanics and tricks from later releases, new pro skaters, and some excellent visuals. The new challenge system, cosmetics, and songs only made the experience that much sweeter. Gears 5. Gears of War has always been a cover shooter, relying on water-cooler moments to propel its narrative. Gears 5 sought to stretch those limitations, incorporating larger, more open environments and side quests, but backed with the same incredible shooting. New weapons and foes, a new mystery to solve, and incredible production values serve to showcase just how valuable the Gears of War brand was to Xbox, even if multiplayer could have been better at launch. Halo Infinite. For all the criticism against its monetization, mismanaged post-launch support, and multiplayer bugs, Halo Infinite is still one of the better games on Xbox Series X and S. Despite plot holes, its campaign brought the sandbox environment gameplay of yore into an open-world-esque setting teeming with stuff to find and threats to eliminate. The multiplayer gameplay is also incredibly responsive and fun, even if some issues need to be ironed out. Hopefully, with the addition of Forge, Halo Infinite will begin living up to its massive potential. The Ascent. Also available on other platforms, The Ascent started out its life as an Xbox console exclusive. The game is set in a futuristic world, and it sees players fight against enemy factions and organizations. Other than its excellent gameplay mechanics, the star of the show is the graphics, which are simply outstanding. Tag along with a friend if you want to have an absolute blast. Psychonauts 2. 6 years after its initial announcement, Psychonauts 2 was finally released, with the best console version being on Xbox Series X and S. Continuing from Rhombus of Ruin, the story sees Raz learning of a conspiracy surrounding the devious Maligula and her return. Utilizing new powers like mental connection and traversing all kinds of trippy environments, Psychonauts 2 provides tons of fun puzzle platforming with a touching story. Citizen Sleeper. At its heart, Citizen Sleeper is a narrative RPG where dice and skill checks determine your fate. But there's so much more to it than that. As a sleeper hunted by the corporation that created them, you venture through Erlin's Eye, taking on different jobs, surviving, and perhaps ultimately finding your destiny. The quality of writing and characterization as you make ends meet and discover all of the stories playing out through the eye is simply top-notch. A Plague Tale Requiem. A Plague Tale: Innocence became one of the breakout indie hits of 2019, cementing Asobo Studio as a great developer. However, A Plague Tale Requiem is better in every way. Picking up several months after the first game, Amicia and Hugo are on the run again, seeking a mysterious island that could cure the latter's disease. Environments are much bigger, providing ample opportunity for more brutal tactics and stealth, and the visual fidelity combined with the narrative is much richer. It's a worthy follow-up, and one that showcases the power of current-gen consoles. Resident Evil Village. While Resident Evil 7 Biohazard was more of a slow burner with its horror, Resident Evil Village dives right into the action. Following the kidnapping of his daughter Rose, Ethan Winters ventures to a mysterious village. Fast pacing, memorable boss fights, more responsive combat, and some crazy set pieces make Resident Evil Village a roller coaster ride that you won't soon forget. Gears Tactics. Gears Tactics is developed by Splash Damage along with the Coalition and mixes turn-based cover shooting with numerous skills, classes, and a hefty campaign. Despite some bugs and lack of base management, the mechanics of destroying emergence holes and executing enemies on top of mastering different techniques make it a fun time for tactics fans. As Dusk Falls. Interior Night's cinematic adventure title was one of the new Xbox exclusives this year, telling the story of two families in late 90s Arizona following a robbery gone wrong. Told over 2 books and several decades, players make different decisions that alter the story. Co-op allows for up to 8 players to vote on decisions, influencing the direction in unpredictable ways. With Fargo and Dog Day Afternoon as its influences, As Dusk Falls is an unorthodox, yet gritty and grounded adventure worth checking out. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe is, well, more Stanley Parable. Stanley's big, bright, and insidious world is expanded with new paths, new choices, alternate endings, and secrets to discover. There's even an extended story of sorts, which plays into the game's sense of fourth wall breaking and meta humor. Worth a playthrough, especially for those pondering about truly having a choice in video games. Tetris Effect Connected. Dread it, run from it, the Tetris Effect arrives all the same. Adding on to the 30 stages, new modes, and zone mechanic of the base game, the connected version adds several new multiplayer modes. Team up with 2 other players to take on an AI boss, or engage in 1v1 matches with the zone mechanic thrown in. Of course, seeing all of the gorgeous particles and effects in 4K is also great. F1 2021. F1 2020 is sadly not available on Xbox Series X and S, and F1 22 isn't as good as its predecessors. As such, F1 2021 is a good halfway point, if you ignore the iffy Breaking Point campaign. Featuring several new circuits, including Imola and Portimao, F1 2021 allows 2 players to participate in career mode for the first time. It also featured several legends like Ayrton Senna, Michael Schumacher, and Nico Rosberg as drivers, along with the addition of department events to My Team. F1 2020 may remain supreme, but F1 2021 is a great alternative. Tales of Arise. Bandai Namco's Tales series underwent a massive revamp with Tales of Arise, sporting larger environments to explore and faster-paced combat with more depth. Starring Alphen and Shione as they traverse Dana, more quirky characters show up, and the classic Tales skits and interactions still hold up. While not the best RPG of this generation, it's still worth checking out. Hitman 2. Ditching the episodic structure of the first game, Hitman 2 did what any sequel should do best: offer more and expand on the core gameplay in meaningful ways. In addition to new locations like Miami and Colombia, new weapons and tools, and new challenges, a picture-in-picture mode provides a peek at other goings-on in a level. The sheer number of elusive targets and escalations and integration with the first game also made it a stellar sequel. The Forgotten City. Begun as a mod for The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, The Forgotten City grew beyond those confines into a standalone title. It's just as well because this time-looping adventure about traveling 2,000 years into the past of a doomed Roman city more than stands on its own. Between various moral choices, non-linear paths, and a meticulously detailed open world, The Forgotten City is a labor of love that deserves more attention. Ollie Ollie World. Previous Ollie Ollie titles have been known for their side-scrolling skateboarding challenges combined with sharp aesthetics. Ollie Ollie World takes that formula and rolls in a crazy new direction as players explore Radlandia and rack up high scores to reach Nirvana. There are a variety of gorgeous levels to explore with numerous paths, tons of challenges, and extensive customization offered. Balance between a trick system that's easy to get into but full of depth to master. Judgment. Re-released as a dedicated port for Xbox Series X and S and PS5, Judgment presents the saga of a lawyer-turned-private eye, Takayuki Yagami, in 60 frames per second. Of course, everything else still holds up, from the combat, which offers 2 unique fighting styles, to the side stories. Lost Judgment may be bigger, but Judgment's narrative feels tighter and more engaging, which is more than enough to earn it the nod. Tunic. At first glance, Finji's tunic appears to be inspired by The Legend of Zelda, right down to the green tunic. And that's not a bad thing, with the environment's storytelling and gorgeous visual style immersing one in the expansive world. A novel approach to puzzle solving and discovering pages from the manual in the world further encourages exploration and creative thinking. Throw in some tough combat with plenty of options available, and there's more than enough to keep the dedicated Zelda fans busy. Sea of Thieves. When Sea of Thieves first launched, it quickly made several most disappointing game lists due to its bugs, lack of content, and repetition. Over time, however, Rare has developed it into one of the best shared world games, with new events, story quests, and regions, or interesting characters and mechanics. The Xbox Series X and S version also looks gorgeous, with 4K 60 FPS and 120 frames per second 1080p options. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. There was some skepticism about Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy after the underwhelming Marvel's Avengers. Not only does it offer unique gameplay that mixes beat-em-up combat with tactical use of each character's abilities, but solid characterization, backed by a strong narrative with suitable stakes. It's a proper action-adventure with no strings attached that feels epic yet personal at the same time and plays great. You really couldn't ask for more. Yakuza Like a Dragon. As the first turn-based RPG in the Yakuza series, Like a Dragon doesn't just introduce a new protagonist in Ichiban Kasuga, it provides a party of memorable characters combined with various classes and extensive customization and an epic narrative. Even if the combat could use some improvement, the sheer amount of stuff to do in the new Izaki Inchinko district in Yokohama, like dungeons, sub-stories, is simply incredible. Death's Door. Death's Door also takes inspiration from Zelda, but mixes in some good old-fashioned Souls combat to go with it. Some well-designed dungeons, excellent combat, and a dark animated aesthetic make Death's Door worth running through once. However, there are also plenty of secrets and a true ending to discover. That's all for now. If you enjoy what you saw, please hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, now is a great time to subscribe. We upload brand new videos every single day. After subscribing, don't forget to enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you next time, right here on Gaming Bolt.